Yes, hello. My name is Ellen Reimann. I'm from Estonia, as was said. And thank you very much for the opportunity to introduce our direction we are taking with special care services in Estonia. I added a cat picture to the opening slide because a cat picture always makes a day better. I believe you agree. So, briefly, how is special care organized in Estonia today? According to the Social Welfare Act, special care is financed by the state, and in the case of round-the-clock services, also by the customer, to the extent determined by the state budget law. It involves food and accommodation. Sorry. The prerequisite for receiving special care services is diagnosis of a mental disorder, so-called F diagnosis, according to ICD-10, and the Social Insurance Board assesses a person's need for special care services based on the following: goals, the occurrence of which is justified by the provision of special care services, the person's need for support to ensure the quality of life in important areas of life, ability to cope, operational capacity, capacity for participation, and state of health. The assessment also takes into account information concerning the labor market services provided by the Estonian Unemployment Insurance Fund. And if the applicant meets the requirements, the Social Insurance Board issues a referral decision to the person. And as a general rule, the provision of special care services is divided into 5-year periods after assessment. The Social Insurance Board, by the Social Insurance Board case manager, the service provider prepares an activity plan according to the support needed, and once a year, a written assessment for the preceding 12 months on the performance of the activities specified in the activity plan and the achievement of objectives. The activity plan is complemented or amended as necessary. Due to the insufficient volume of the budget for special care services, there are unfortunately queues for services. And right now, we have 6 special care services. Among them, 3 supporting services, which are everyday life support service, employment support service, and supported living service. And also services with accommodation. These are community living service, interval care, and one round-the-clock service that is divided according to people's needs. For example, some service providers specialize in supporting people with extreme sport needs, and there are separate units for people who have been assigned to service based on a court order, which is for a maximum of 1 year. And every type of service requires a separate referral and action plan. So one person needs support if one person needs support in everyday life, employment, and in living areas, he or she has 3 referral decisions. And if they additionally need, as they often need, social rehabilitation services and local government services, for example, municipal housing support or social transportation. That case, they need for rehabilitation a separate social insurance board referral and action plan, and local government services can be obtained from the local government. Therefore, from the person's perspective, the system is confusing and not comprehensive. So I would say current model, organized at the state level, is service-centered. How would we like special care to be organized in Estonia? The answer is service model of person-centered special care in local government. The proposed new model is person-centered, providing assistance to a person with special mental health needs as one complete integrated service organized by the local government, where all necessary activities to support the person are guaranteed. Target group: people who live in their own homes do not require round-the-clock support. We started piloting in 2017, and the pilot's completion is planned for the end of 2026. The source of funding is ESF funding, conditions for granting support, access to social protection, and long-term care. In 2017, a prototype of person-centered model was completed in cooperation between the Ministry of Social Affairs and private joint venture Trinidad Wiseman. The prototype was developed together with people with special care needs, their relatives, service providers, representative organizations, and the Social Insurance Board. The main objectives are to make the supporting system for adults with intellectual, psychosocial, or developmental disabilities more person-centered, to improve people's understanding of their rights and opportunities, to improve the timing of interventions, ensuring people receive appropriate interventions as early as possible, to improve support to caretakers and families looking after the people with special care needs, and to provide comprehensive service to the persons in need and their family as close to home as possible. The number of persons with disabilities supported by the project so far is 1,500, and in 2025 there are 800 participants and involved and 33 local governments. In total, there are 79 local governments in Estonia. Service model of person-centered special care in local government. How it works. The approach to deliver this new innovative person-centered service is based on consistent personal case manager. It includes the creation of an action plan and the monitoring of its implementation. A case manager, which is an employee of the local government, is appointed to work with the person with disabilities to define their needs, prepare a comprehensive assistance package, and establish a personal budget. The new model has services covering 7 areas of life, which are social relations, mental health, physical health, employment, free time and hobbies, living environment, activities of daily living, and is formed from the activities that are now part of the special care and social rehabilitation services necessary to support a specific person, and in addition, service components that are not covered by the current service system. During the piloting process, the model has been slightly improved, but the main structure has remained the same. So, why isn't special care organized the way we would like it? Austerity budget is the thing to blame. The goal was to transfer the coordination of services to local governments starting from 2020 2027. This would have meant that in this year, in 2025, we would start changing the legal framework, preparing training programs, and so on. But in the start of 2024, Estonia began drafting an austerity budget, which with each ministry being tasked with reducing expenses. And unfortunately, this also affects the social sector and local governments. And local governments are currently unwilling to go along with the changes unless we can guarantee sufficient funding. We have managed to maintain the budget for special care services at the same level for 2025 as it was in 2024. But in the coming years, it is very unlikely that additional funds will be added to the budget. However, implementing changes such as transferring the coordination of special care services to local government will require additional funding. However, we haven't fully given up. In the first half of 2025, we will work on transforming the state organized support services system to be more person-centered, and in the second half, we plan to start changing the legislative framework, and by the end of 2026, we should also have an updated information system in place that reduces bureaucracy. We are keeping our fingers crossed that we can transfer the coordination of supporting special care services to local governments by around 2030. Thank you for the opportunity to present our person-centered service model, and thank you for listening.